We're not about anything else. This is not a club. This is not something where you're hip and you get to belong to. This is not something that could be confused with what you see in Hollywood. This is and will always be about Jesus and the discipleship that he taught. So it's all about. That's what separates us. That's what makes us unique as Christians, and that's what makes MPI International. That's what makes us unique. Is that we have the best of worship. Thank you, Adam. We have the best of children's ministry. Thank you, Pastor Susie. We have the best of teaching. We have people with their master's degrees. We have the best of preaching. Praise God. We have the best. We have the best. But we humble ourselves and preach in storefronts because we won't dance the tune of a backslidden, lukewarm church. We said we'll start our own. We'll start it in a house, and we'll say this is what a church looks like. This is what disciples look like. We'll preach on corners. We all preach on corners here. Every single one of us. Why? Because Jesus preached on corners. That's why I preach on corners. I don't need to prove anything to some lukewarm sissy preacher. I'm on a corner because Jesus stood on corners. He stood in marketplaces. He lifted up his voice. He was mocked by the multitudes because he loved people. He couldn't keep his love to himself. He couldn't keep it in a synagogue. He had to bring it to the highways, the byways, the least of all creation, and say, I love you, and I love you. That's why we preach. That's why we go to high schools. That's why tomorrow I'll be at Wright College. Because he's worthy. He's worthy. He's worth it. He's worth the mockery. He's worth the shame. He's worth the small storefront building. He's worth whatever us pastors have to pay. He's worth people coming and going. It doesn't matter. We will stay. We will remain if others don't. We'll find 10 more to take your place. Listen to me. We will find 10 more that are more radical, more dedicated to you if you don't want it. Why? Because this is what God told us to do. There is no discussion. There is no further debate. This is where we set our feet down. This is where we make our stand for the discipleship of the nations.